one of the worst storms in history now. Um, it's terrifying because it's late September. Usually these storms, they come a little bit earlier. I don't know, man. It's the storm season's getting longer. Look at this. The car is in the house. That's what's going on in the Carolinas. Joe Scarborough said some interesting stuff about it. Let's see what Joe Scarborough has to
So what
say.
usually happens in hurricanes is they pick up a lot of steam over the water, they hit the land, and then they quickly dissipate. And you'll have some tornadoes here, some tornadoes there, a lot of rain, not a whole lot of flooding. But the pain that people are experiencing right now all across the South, especially in Western Carolina, is so heartbreaking. North Carolina is so heartbreaking also. South Carolina.
North Carolina, my God.
Asheville, North Carolina is one of my favorite places. I've been there many, many times. I love it. I've spent a lot of time in the Carolinas, and our friend Justin is in Carolina. I think he's in North Carolina. It's I can't remember which Carolina he's in. It's hard to keep him straight sometimes, but I do love the Carolinas. It really is tragedy what's going on there.
South Carolina badly as well.
Asheville, it has some of the best breweries in America. I used to go there all the time for the great beer.
Asheville completely wiped off the map. And listen, if you want to help those people who were suffering so terribly right now, you can do that by giving to the American Red Cross, World Central Kitchen, AmeriCares, GoFundMe, Salvation Army, Save the Children, and the United Way. Any way you can help, we ask, please help. Again, the people in the Carolinas right now really devastated.
Well,
and of course, all along the Florida coast, all along the Florida West Coast, Cedar Key, a lot of places just completely
some places decimated. We're getting
Of course, I was just on the western coast of Florida, and I saw what the last batch of hurricanes did. They're not even rebuilding. Like they used to have these beautiful piers that would go off into the Gulf. They haven't even had the chance to rebuild them since the last hurricane. All of their marinas are still totally trashed. It really is. I don't know, man. It's really devastating.
A clearer look now at the damage inflicted by Tropical Storm Helene after the storm barreled through at least 6 states.
Like, tell me that isn't haunting with the sail just like flat. Looks like a ghost ship. Look at these poor. This is just a one of those mobile home parks right on the water. I'm surprised these piers are still there, but it looks like some of the piers are gone. You can't really tell.
Leaving behind major devastation, turning neighborhoods into rivers. This morning, at least 89 people are dead across Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia, and Tennessee. And in Western North Carolina alone, at least 30 people were killed in one county due to...
This is Asheville, North Carolina. I can't even believe this. Asheville is one of the gems of the South. Asheville, North Carolina, one of the cutest places you'll ever visit. Yeah, I have a good friend in Asheville, actually. I should call her up and see if she's okay.
Catastrophic flooding. In some affected areas, power is being restored, but more than 2 million customers remain without electricity in several states. Right now, search and rescue
2 million Americans have no power. America thinks that, it's funny. I think in America, we think that this type of thing isn't going to happen to us. It's going to keep happening to us. I got a friend from Hilton Head. Yeah, Hilton Head. Hilton Head's probably gone, man. Hilton Head's probably underwater.
Operations are still ongoing as many people remain unaccounted for, leaving families desperate to find their loved ones. Later this week, President Biden will travel to areas impacted by Helene to survey the damage as response efforts continue.
I hate to bring this up, but this is why we need a president who's not 80 years old. We need one that can travel to these devastated areas and give a vote of confidence, give some motivation, some moral support. Can you imagine? Did you just hear what she said? She's going to send Biden. Like, Biden 30 years ago probably would have been a fiery, wonderful person to send, but right now, what the hell is Biden? You gonna put him out there? Have you seen how Biden walks these days? And we're gonna put another 80-year-old president in there. God.
At a rally yesterday, Vice President Kamala Harris took a moment to discuss the impact of the storm and to thank the first responders.
And I know that everyone here sends their thoughts and prayers.
Please stop saying thoughts and prayers. This is a problem. You're so far out of touch that you're going to send thoughts and prayers? We need soldiers and shovels and sandbags. Jesus, we need money. Thoughts and prayers. Oh my God. Oh, Bartleby. What are we gonna do with thoughts and prayers, Bartleby?
For the folks who have been so devastated by that hurricane and the ensuing events in Florida, in Georgia, the Carolinas, and other impacted states. And we know that so many have been impacted, some have died. But I want to thank everyone for doing everything you can to think about them, send them your thoughts, send them your prayers. I want to thank the first responders who have done so much.
Send them your thoughts, send them your prayers. If anything, I think that she should be saying, hey, you know what? We've raised a lot of money lately for the campaign. Here's what I think we should do. Let's take our money and we'll put it into the Carolinas. Let's do that. You know, maybe that'll be worth more than the ads that I can buy. I don't know. What do you think?
And we will stand with these communities for as long as it takes to make sure that they are able to recover and rebuild.
So Donald Trump, meanwhile, will head to.
Oh, you think that's bad? So of course I love this. So I watch it. I love it because at least Joe Scarborough, not a fan. Like the guy probably murdered his aide. You know, look it up. He used to be a congressman. He's not a good guy, but he's been doing the show for a long time. And at least he shows both. He compares and contrasts. And that is my favorite. If you're going to show something, show me the other, because I was not impressed by that Kamala Harris speech. Let's see what Donald Trump says. Let's see what Donald Trump says about what's going on in the Carolinas.
To Valdosta, Georgia, to survey the damage there from
Valdosta,
tropical
Georgia.
storm.
I was in Valdosta just a few months ago. I was in Valdosta. What a wonderful, sweet town. The Dosta, you know, remember I was there and I took pictures of their beautiful cinema they have downtown. I drove around Valdosta with my chicken truck. Do you remember those days? They're gone. It's all gone. I was just there and it's gone. It's all gone.
Helene. Over the weekend, he criticized the Biden administration's response to the storm. That all comes as he downplayed the threat posed by climate change during a rally in Pennsylvania yesterday.
I haven't heard, Mike, they don't ever talk about the environment anymore. You know why? Mike is saying, don't talk about it now.
They never talk about the environment. You know why? Any question? Yeah. You know why they don't talk about the environment, man? Because you've got everyone doubting that the environment is even important. We're all on a melting planet. 98% of the world's mammalian biomass is us and the animals we keep as slaves. 98%. Only 2% of the world's mammals are still wild, living, free animals. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah, I mean, we're still burning down the rainforest and everything. Let's see what he's got to say.
No, it's one of the great scams of all time.
Scam.
You know why they don't talk about it? Because people aren't buying it anymore. It's
You know, that's just a lie. It's yet another lie. And not only Jonathan Lemire, are people buying the fact that, you know, maybe 19 of the 20 hottest years on record have been the last 19 or so years.
Okay, so the world is having larger and larger hurricanes, more frequent hurricanes, longer hurricane season, and he's like, nah, global warming's not a thing. Climate change is not a thing, everybody. Yeah, that was his answer. So when you get pissed off when you hear things like Kamala Harris saying thoughts and prayers, send your thoughts and prayers to Georgia, which pisses me off too. It's bullshit. It's an idiotic thing to say. But the other guy is saying global warming isn't a thing. He's saying that climate change is a hoax. So, which will you go with? Which would you like? Is MSNBC a company as a no, well, sort of like Microsoft, NBC merged at one point? Like a lot of these big companies, they merge, they separate, they merge again, that type of stuff. So a long time ago, before the antitrust thing that broke up Microsoft kind of bought NBC and then it got broken up. And I'm not sure, I don't think Microsoft owns NBC anymore, but the network is still called MSNBC, and it's widely considered to be a little bit more left leaning. But Joe Scarborough is a conservative, and I've always liked his take on shit. I don't like him. Don't let it be known I do not like Joe Scarborough, but I always liked his take on things. Plus, his wife sitting next to him, like giving the cosign, is kind of fun sometimes. Like the dynamic between him and his wife is hilarious. It was better when they tried to hide the fact that they were having a torrid love affair. They used to be they were co-hosts, and then they got together, but they didn't want anybody to know, but the sexual tension was palpable. And now now they're husband and wife, and they're still doing the show together. And I think it's great. I don't know. I like the show. I don't like him. Um do you understand? Do you get me from that? Do you understand what I'm saying? Delusional douche nozzle, Donnie. Yeah, yeah. He doesn't think that climate hurricane, and he says climate change is fake. That's right, John Suk. They're not talking about the environment anymore. Yeah, they're talking about the environment, dude. We're all still talking about it, Donnie.
But talk to Republicans
Here we
who
go.
run insurance companies
Yeah.
that look at the numbers of how much storms are costing. Insurance companies are costing the federal government, are costing Americans. It's getting so devastating that in so many places, some people can't even get proper.
You can't even get proper insurance in some places. Like in some places in California, you can't even buy fire insurance. You can't even buy it. They won't even sell it to you. You know what that means for house prices? You know what that means? Who can buy homes now? People who can self insure. Oh,
Property insurance anymore.
or people who can, because the banks won't loan you the money because it's too much of a risk for them because you can't even buy fire insurance. So you can't even get the loan. So the only people that can buy those homes are people that can buy them in cash. What is that? What do you think that makes it? What do you think happens then?
Because insurance companies have been so overwhelmed by the radical change in climate over the past 20 years. You know who else believes in climate change? An overwhelming majority of farmers.
Thank you. There you go. I wanted to say that. This is what I don't understand about America. We have farmers. I've been all over America this year. I've met so many farmers. I've done reports on this channel about short corn and all of the farming situations that are happening because of the different things they're going to have to do in order to maintain any semblance of normalcy as the climate continues to change on them. When I was in Nebraska, they're like, holy shit, it's 100 degrees out here in the corn sweat. I never heard of corn sweat before. And remember we were talking about corn sweat in Nebraska? Yeah, because it's 100 degrees out there. They're not used to it. They're not prepared for 100-degree weather over long periods of time in places like corn country. It's getting worse, Bartleby. It's getting worse every year. And never forget, we just got through with summer. Was it hot enough for you? Well, guess what? It's the coldest summer for the rest of your life, Bartleby. This is it. This is it. The apocalypse, baby. Get ready for it. This is we've passed the Rubicon. We are no longer going to be able to stop it. We might be able to mitigate it if everyone got their collective heads out of their asses, but that's not going to happen. You and I both know that, Bartleby. And so the only thing we can do now is plan for what we know is going to happen and not listen to people like Donald Trump who say that it's still they still say it's a hoax. And the other thing that I beg from you, Bartleby, is to not forget, never forget who has lied to you for the last 20 years about what. It's longer than 20 years. Let's face it. They were talking about global warming when I was in the third fucking grade. Don't tell me it's been 20 years. It's been more like almost 40 years. Almost 40 years. I've been hearing about it nearly my entire life. And let me tell you, Bartleby, they're lying. They've been lying. There's a few people still lying, but never forget which group lied to you over and over for decades about what was going to happen. And when you live through another fire or a hurricane or a tornado or one of these horrible these natural disasters that will befall you, it's not a matter of it's not a matter of if anymore. It's a matter of when. It's a matter of when. I live close to where the fires are, and they get closer every year. Every year. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. And when either tempest or or tempest or pirates befall you, as Jane Austen said, remember who lied to you. Just remember it. It was the Republicans. You might hate the Democrats. I don't like them either. I don't like them either, Bartleby. But but Bartleby, they've been lying about climate change, global warming. They've been changing the names on you so you feel better about it for at least 3 or 4 decades. So just remember, that's all I'm asking. Please don't let, John F. Kennedy said, forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. Well, their names were Republicans. Okay. So don't forget, please. God damn it. Oh, Bartleby. Oh, humanity.